Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss the legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedoms and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, the President and General Counsel of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country in the courtrooms of America. Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedoms.
A federal court of appeals said it will not reconsider its decision removing roadside memorial crosses for the Utah Highway Patrol officers. Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel and dean of Liberty University School of Law. Joining me is Matt Barber, director of cultural affairs for Liberty Counsel and associate dean for the law school. Matt, the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, which in this particular case is sitting in Denver, Colorado, said a few days ago that it will let stand an August ruling by a panel of 3 judges of the same court, stating that the crosses in Utah violate the Constitution, that these roadside memorial crosses for fallen Utah Highway Patrol officers have to be removed because somehow they establish a religion. That's what we have now. There's no doubt that they will ask the United States Supreme Court to get involved in this case, and it may ultimately be a case that goes to the High Court.
Well, I sure hope that the High Court grants certiorari on this. You know, they look at, I think they only grant far less than 1% of all cases that come across their desk. So it's really unfortunate that the 10th Circuit has ignored our history in this country, has ignored clear precedent that establishes Supreme Court precedent that establishes that such memorials and representations are not unconstitutional. Unfortunately, when you have judges in power, unelected officials who have this type of power and have an ideological agenda that they hope to exact, unfortunately, this is the kind of thing that you can arrive at.
Well, this particular situation was a case filed by American Atheist or others that were opposed to the crosses. This Texas-based organization had, in fact, asked that the crosses be removed on the grounds that they violated the Constitution. 3-judge panel agreed with them, concluding that the cross memorials would convey to a reasonable observer that the state of Utah is endorsing Christianity. It also says, moreover, the fact that all the fallen Utah Highway Patrol troopers are memorialized with a Christian symbol conveys the message that there is some connection between the Utah Highway Patrol and Christianity. That's what the judges wrote in a 38-page ruling. They said this may lead the reasonable observer to fear, this is the word they use, that Christians are likely to receive preferential treatment from the Utah Highway Patrol, both in their hiring practices and more generally in the treatment that people may expect to receive on Utah's highways, close quote. Now, you really think that that's true? People are going to say, gosh, if they stop Christians, they're going to let those Christians go. I'm not a Christian, so I'm probably going to get the book thrown at me. They're going to give me the ticket because I've been speeding 95 miles per hour in a 35-mile-per-hour zone.
Well, when you consider that upwards of close to 90% of all Americans identify as Christian, that statement is really nonsensical. And beyond that, when you consider that the county and that the state of Utah has said, well, if other people specifically would like to have a Star of David or some other religious symbol, involved, that they can. But nonetheless, again, when you have an agenda, you have an agenda.
Well, the deceased officer's name in this case and badge number are printed on a 6-foot crossbar in large black lettering. And according to the court records, the crosses bear the Utah Highway Patrol symbol, the deceased trooper's picture, and a plaque with biographical information. Now, in terms of whether they have a cross, a Star of David, or something else, that's up to the members of the surviving family. It's a personal choice. This particular idea came about because some troopers on the Utah Highway Patrol wanted to actually honor some of their fallen comrades. So the choice as to what symbol is used is not the Utah Highway Patrol, but it's the private choice of individuals. The judges noted that the troopers who designed the crosses, and this makes no sense that they would even point this out, are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a religion that does not use the crosses as part of its worship. The troopers said they chose the crosses because it evokes the symbol of military cemeteries. So it makes no sense that they actually are ruling against the private choices of individuals. These are private choices of individuals. They have created a forum where these memorials are placed on the side of the road, and the design of that particular symbol is totally up to the individual and not to the government.
Well, which might explain why Judge Paul J. Kelly, in a dissenting opinion, wrote that the court should rehear the case and that the three-judge panel incorrectly focused on the religious symbol of the crosses instead of the message they meant to convey, and he wrote that the panel reached the, quote, odd conclusion that the Utah Highway Patrol is a sort of Christian police that favors Christians over non-Christians, a conclusion that has no support in the facts. He went on to say, without consulting all relevant factors, we simply cannot determine whether the challenged displays violate the Establishment Clause, and he wrote to, quote, to presume otherwise is to evince hostility towards religion, which the First Amendment unquestionably prohibits. So really, in purportedly upholding the Constitution here, the judges on this panel that voted to rule this unconstitutional, as Judge Kelly points out, are showing hostility toward the Constitution and really violating the First Amendment's free exercise clause.
Well, for example, if you went to a military cemetery and the surviving family of that deceased military service member chose a cross to be on that tombstone, then that's their choice. Mm-hmm. If they chose a Star of David, then that's their choice, or whatever symbol that they chose. If they chose no symbol at all, that's their choice. If this case stands, then you have a potential implication that these choices that people have historically made, whether it's Arlington Cemetery or someplace else, will also be ruled unconstitutional, especially if someone who is a fallen Marine, and they may have the Marines symbol or some other military branch symbol there with the cross, is someone going to likely perceive that, oh, the Marines are Christian now, so I probably won't get promoted, or I probably won't get accepted if I'm not Christian, because it looks like they're going to be a Christian organization.
Well, bingo. In lies the not so thinly veiled underlying goal of this case to begin with. And the goal of the ACLU is to remove any religious representation whatsoever from any public forum, and to have the federal government completely removed from even touching any kind of religion whatsoever. So the example you give of the individual with the fallen soldier, the family, this individual is clearly Jewish, for instance. They say we opt to have in Arlington Cemetery the Star of David represented to represent our fallen soldier. This case, as is the goal of the ACLU, would say no, there can be no representation whatsoever. It's preposterous when viewed through the prism of our his history in the United States.
And that gets you right back to Judge Paul Kelly's dissent. Mm-hmm. It was a 2-1 decision, and Judge Paul Kelly says that this would show hostility towards religion, particularly Christianity, which the First Amendment unquestionably prohibits. And it really is targeting Christianity for discriminatory treatment. And at the end of the day, they're wanting to eliminate Christianity from the public square. This is the end game. This is the goal. This case hopefully will be petitioned to the U.S. Supreme Court, and this or another one. In fact, we have one that is there right now, and it's about the Ten Commandments. Perhaps the Supreme Court will take that case as well. But broader than the Ten Commandments or these crosses is the issue of the interpretation of the First Amendment. In our case, the McCreary County case from Kentucky, we're asking the court to reconsider the way it approaches the First Amendment Establishment Clause and to throw out the so-called lemon test, because it has proven to be a big lemon.
Yeah.
It is something that is not part of the Constitution. It is something that has caused confusion, and it's part of the so-called reasonable observer that they're talking about in this case, that every single justice has historically in the past, they've criticized it. So they need to actually change it so they can get back to a more historical approach of the First Amendment and really look at things that are establishments of religion or that tend to establish religion. Mere acknowledgement of religion is not an establishment of religion.
Well, Judge Kelly calls this an odd conclusion by the court. That might explain why when we go up against the ACLU, 92% of the times, upward of 92% of the times, the judges we go before also find the ACLU's conclusions odd.
Give us a call at Liberty Counsel, 1-800-671-1776. We'll keep you up to date on this case, and also we'll have a program later on our Ten Commandments case pending at the U.S. Supreme Court. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. Sign up for our Liberator newsletter, the Liberty Alert email, and the Grassroots Action email. You can do that right there on the website. And you can also order the Patriots Handbook. A Patriots Handbook is part of our new publication, New Revolution Publishers, and it is, in that book, has the Constitution and Declaration of Independence, a pocket-sized Constitution and Declaration. Ask for the Patriots Handbook today.
You have been listening to Matt Staver of Liberty Counsel. Our hope is to encourage and inspire you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedoms. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email update. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.